Welcome, it's California Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance coming to you from Sacramento, the state's capital, and we are joined by Marty Block. He is a member of the California State Senate. And sir, I think it's fair to say that you're on the verge of passing some really groundbreaking legislation, or having one of your bills passed, which are groundbreaking. And that deals with community colleges and the degrees that they are able to offer. Currently in California, community colleges can offer associate's degrees or certificates. What are you looking to see happen?
Yeah, if my bill passes, it will be the first time in California that community colleges can actually offer a four-year degree, a bachelor's degree, particularly in technical areas.
What's interesting is, at first I would think, well, that's not the mission. But then I realized over 20 other states have been offering this opportunity. So, talk to us about the genesis of this. How did this happen in other states, and how did it finally come to California?
Well, first of all, it truly is the mission. The mission of community colleges has long been to prepare students for the workforce. What's changed is not the mission of community colleges, but industry expectation. What industry used to require as two-year degrees to prepare for the workforce, now with the information age, with technological requirements for so many jobs, that same position now requires a four-year degree. So community colleges still do basically the same mission, they perform the same mission, but it requires a four-year degree. And in other states, they found the same thing, that what used to be a two-year degree now is a four-year degree, and 22 other states have already moved in that direction. California, frankly, is behind the curve.
We're lagging. I mean, usually California's setting the pace. What took so long?
Well, we have a master plan in California that has served us very well. It was conceived in 1960, so it's 55 years old almost. And like any 55-year-old, it needs some fine-tuning. And while it was great in 1960 and served us for many years, as we've seen with, again, this information explosion, really being on top of certain career paths just requires more training, more time in the classroom.
At the same time, this is the third effort of yours to get this bill passed. It didn't make it the last two times. Why is it that it seems that we are on the verge? I mean, anything could happen, but it seems like it's going to happen. Why is third time the charm?
Yeah. Well, I've tried this multiple times because I served as president of San Diego's Community College District Board of Trustees, and it was clear to me that community colleges had the capacity to do this. When I first tried the bill, the first two times I tried, the state was in a huge recession, part of the worldwide recession. And while this isn't a very expensive bill, it does cost something, and we just didn't have the dollars to spend.
But does it though? I mean, it seems like it would be more affordable. The state would save money because it's more expensive to educate a student at the CSU or UC and less at the community college. Am I missing something?
No, not at all. It's less expensive for the students, and for the state, the degree would cost only about half of what CSU degree costs. But there are startup costs to get things going, equipment that needs to be purchased by community colleges. And we're in such dire straits, and sometimes it's hard to remember, but a few years ago, we were cutting programs by a third or half in some cases. So any proposal for a new program was rejected.
I mean, community colleges lost $1 billion during the downturn. Now, some of that is being restored. So before we talk about the particulars of the bill, how has the response been? I mean, I got to think some folks are ruffled by it, some are excited by it. How have you been able to push this through?
Yeah, overwhelmingly positive response. Three sectors in particular. The education sector, the community colleges are very excited about this. The UC, frankly, is fine with it. The CSU at first had some concerns about duplicating programs that they offer.
And we'll talk about that.
And we've decided not to go that route. In the business sector, chambers of commerce up and down the state are supportive because it prepares students for the workforce. The military, we didn't at first think of our veterans, but veterans are the ones who often need this civilian technical training to use the expertise they acquired in the military to get a job.
Let's talk more about the particulars. For our viewers on HLN, thank you for joining us. For our other viewers, we'll be right back with Senator Marty Block. So, Senator, let's talk about the particulars because they are important to understand. You mentioned duplication. Under the bill that looks like will be marching forward, there can be no duplication between a major offered at a CSU and or UC and a community college. I've spoken with several trustees of community colleges. That gives them a little heartburn. They feel as if nursing, as an example, when you look at the Inland Empire, let's say, there's a dearth of nurses. RCC, Riverside Community Colleges, has a great nursing program. There's a new UCR medical school, so they'd like to be able to offer nursing. As I understand it, though, as we talk today, it doesn't look like that will be possible. Talk to me about that process and what the rationale was.
Yeah, first of all, I agree with those proponents of offering degrees as long as they're not offered locally by the CSU.
Right, that's the key.
But having said that,
Yes.
political realities are such that there was concern by the CSU and some other groups that if there was any duplication at all, this could harm some CSU campuses that have lower enrollments.
Do any CSU campuses have? I mean, lower enrollments. We're
some
impacted.
do.
No, really?
Yeah, some do. In
Okay.
San Diego, where I am, it's jammed.
Right.
But in Bakersfield and other places, there is room. Frankly, down the road, there may be changes in this policy. It's important that those trustees or chancellors remember that this is a pilot program and that we're taking a baby step here, and we will expand on the pilot, I'm sure, once we get down the road on it.
So let's talk about the particulars of the pilot. Initially, as I understand it, the goal was to allow 112 campuses, but like you said, a pilot means let's scale back a bit. So right now, the proposal allows 15 campuses from 15 different districts. So, for example, San Diego has several campuses within the system, but only one of those campuses.
That's correct.
So how did we get to that 15 number? No criticism intended, but just wondering.
No, again, it's part of the bill amendment process. We started out without a limit. As we went through the Education Committee in the Senate, the consultants and the chair were a little concerned about just willy-nilly letting every campus do this. They wanted to make sure we selected the best campuses for a pilot program, campuses that were already doing very well in what they already do. So the state chancellor is going to be the one to decide which 15 campuses get to do it.
Yeah, let's talk about that process. Do we know how that will work, or is that the bill gets signed and then it's a regulation that gets passed in terms of applications?
Yeah, we didn't want to micromanage too much what that process is going to look like, but we're confident that there will be a lot of competition for these 15 slots.
What's remarkable to me is this could happen, January 1st, 2015. We're months away. This is ready to go.
Yeah, if the governor signs the bill, and it has to make it through the legislature, and
Right.
it's almost there.
Right.
Governor signs it in September. January 1st, schools will start ramping up. In fact, some schools already have in anticipation of it being signed. Probably we're looking at September of 2015 as really the startup.
What about the cost to the student? We mentioned it a bit, but I would presume one of the benefits, intended benefits of this bill is the cost would be cheaper to the students vis-a-vis CSU and UC. Now that may cause them some heartache because then they have price competition, but where do we go on the cost issue?
Well, the governor has said that he'd really like to see a $10,000 bachelor's degree. And I think this bill will let us get there, where the entire 4 years or however many years it takes students to complete 120 units can be done for about $10,000 in terms of tuition and fees.
So that'd be about $2,500 a year.
Right.
And right now at CSU, it's about $6,000.
Yeah, it's about between half and a third of what it costs at the CSU, so it's significantly less expensive. Plus, the other savings, when students can get their 4-year degree at the local community college, they don't have to move out of their house even if they are living with parents or if they have their own family. It really saves money for that reason, too.
What about accreditation? How would that work? Because community colleges have their own accreditation issues. Cuesta had some issues and some others. So how will that work?
Yeah, as long as it's just 1 degree per college, and this is part of the reason we started with just 1 degree, the community college accrediting agency that currently does the accrediting can continue to do it. Once they move to multiple degrees, then WASC has to come in and do accreditation. So there'll be some changes along the way.
Will there need to be a quick accreditation for this 1 degree, or will the current accreditation cover?
Yeah, we're hoping, and we think we're going to get there, that the current accreditation will certainly cover the students in the program. The first 2 years of every program are still going to be the traditional community college classes. And then by the time students through the program get to the second 2 years, we'll hopefully have accreditation in place for them.
How do you feel?
I feel real good. I think this is going to happen, and it's going to be really a game changer for California.
It's very exciting. His name is Marty Block. He is a member of the California State Senate, representing significant portions of San Diego County. My name is Brad Pomerance, and this is California Edition.